4-year-old loses her 1-week-old lab pup in a house robbery. 3 days after, finds some movement near her kennel. The love of an animal is the purest form of love that one will ever get to experience. A loving pet is the only living being who would love you more than you love yourself. They will reciprocate the emotions in the best possible way. Undoubtedly, they're like therapists to us. The only thing is that this therapist is covered with fur and has 4 legs. If you own a pet, you can probably understand that. Maya, a 4-year-old girl, got the best sibling from her parents. They brought home a few-week-old Labrador. The girl got a best friend, a sibling in that pet. But soon, only she was left alone when a burglary took place at their place and her dear lab was gone. She was heartbroken. After 3 days of the robbery, Maya's attention is caught by some suspicious movements near her dog's kennel. Those movements were enough to turn her world upside down. Elena Sardi and Ryan Hood were residents of Melbourne. They had a very simple living kind of lifestyle. With the birth of their daughter Maya, their life got hectic. Managing a kid along with your work isn't all easy, is it? Though in the initial years things were smooth, as Maya got a little older, she started to feel lonely. That's when her parents brought her something she'd been longing for. Maya was 4 years old, and as her parents got busy with their work, she started to feel lonely at home. There was no one to accompany her, play with her, and talk to her. Being the only child of her parents, Maya started to feel the need for a sibling, and that's when her parents got her one. A child's wish was soon going to be granted, and she was getting excited. Maya was already brimming with joy to know that her parents were getting her a little pup. Even before bringing home the dog, she, along with the help of her father, got a kennel for it and placed it near her bedroom's window. The little girl just couldn't wait for her new pet. Thrilled with excitement, Maya, along with her parents, visited the nearest pet shop to their house. Maya was overwhelmed to see so many dogs and cats wagging their tails at her sight. Though Maya adored every pet residing there, an 8-week-old pup Labrador caught her attention. Maya knew it was her for whom she'll be adopting for life. Who said love at first sight happens only among humans and not with other 2 living souls? For Maya, her lab was the one who stole her heart in an instant. She named her dear doggo Sasha. Even Sasha developed an instant bond with Maya. She'd wag her tail the moment she saw Maya coming towards her. However, the duo didn't know that their days of staying together were limited. Elena and Ryan were happy to see Maya and Sasha together. In their words, Sasha took away the boredom that Maya had been feeling all the way before the pup was adopted. They were amused at the sight as Maya caressed Sasha, and Sasha would reciprocate. She would follow Maya in the entire house and would even eat only from Maya's hands. Unfortunately, Maya's happiness soon came crashing down. It was merely a week that Maya got Sasha home. That morning, Maya was feeling uneasy. A night before, she even had a mild fever. Elena drove to the physician to get Maya needed help. It was the first time in a week that Maya left Sasha alone at home, as she couldn't carry her into a doctor's office. As she returned back home, all she wanted to do was cuddle with her dear Sasha, but what they saw next left them baffled. As Elena unlocked the door to her house, she was taken aback. There was utter silence. Sasha wasn't barking, and that was strange. While Elena and Maya were just thinking of Sasha to be asleep, they saw that their living room was all untidy, and things were lying on the floor. Not only this, but they were also welcomed with a broken glass windows. What just happened? After finding the pillows, wall paintings, and glass over the floor, Elena soon realized that thieves had broken into her house while she was away. Scared, Elena immediately calls Ryan. She further finds that her precious jewelry, wall art, and some cash had been stolen. While she was weeping over this loss, she did not sense that something even more precious had been taken away as well. Maya and Elena were suddenly struck hard with the fact that in all this mess, Sasha was nowhere to be seen. They looked under every piece of furniture, checked her kennel, under the beds, and behind the curtains, but there were no signs of Sasha. They called for her, Sasha, Sasha, out loud, and there was no response. The burglars had probably taken their dear pup away as well. Poor Maya couldn't stop crying. It was only a week that she started feeling good and happy about her life. She got a new best friend who would stay with her always, and now she was lost. Maya was distressed, and all she thought about was Sasha. Her heart was broken and she was frightened, thinking what state might Sasha have ended up in. As Ryan got home, he understood how grim the situation was. Moreover, finding Maya in this much pain took him over. He couldn't see his daughter in pain. He went with Maya through the neighborhood to find Sasha. As Sasha was only a month old, even if she could have escaped, she couldn't have traveled far. However, Ryan was not sure if they would be able to find their lost family member or not. There were no signs of Sasha in the neighborhood. This time even Ryan panicked and Maya's condition worsened. To her, Sasha was not a pet. Sasha was her sibling, someone with whom she spent her days and nights, and losing her was unbearable for her. It was just as if someone took a piece of her heart along. Ryan informed the police and asked for help. Unfortunately, none could foresee the worst that was to come. As the policemen arrived at the scene, they investigated the entire house, and from the evidence they could collect, they were sure that Sasha had not escaped but had probably been kidnapped or taken away by the robbers. Though the family knew this, the policemen confirmed their worst fears. Had the family lost their poor puppy? Things unfolded into such a miserable situation so fast that Ryan was in a state of panic. Sasha the dog just stepped in their house a week ago, and they did not even get her vaccinated. This meant that if Sasha came in contact to any other dog or wild animal, the chances of her falling extremely sick were high. Amongst all this stress, the Sardis had bigger stress, Maya. The loss of Sasha was a turmoil on Maya's health. Since the day she'd lost her pup, she had nightmares of her being lost forever, sleepless nights. She would cry and would miss the puppy and the happy time she spent with Sasha. It won't be wrong to say she was traumatized. Even her parents were worried. All the family hoped was for a miracle to happen, but the chances seemed bleak. Though the policemen were trying every bit to find Sasha, the Sardis took some things in their hands as well. They posted flyers of the missing Sasha wherever possible, in the hope that if anyone would have seen her, they would call them and they'd be able to reunite with their lost family member. Though they had installed a microchip in Sasha, they were surprised that no one turned up with the news of finding her. Will the poor doggo make it home, or had she an altogether different destiny now? As days followed and there were no traces of Sasha, the police and the family decided to resort to social media. It was the only hope through which Sasha could be located. They posted stories about the stolen pup and even warned the burglars to return her. They said that as the pup would be microchipped, the robbers could be traced. Would the idea work? It was Wednesday night, and the family almost gave up on reuniting with their pup. They all went to bed hopeless, not to mention that Maya was shattered. That night, as Maya was sleeping, she heard some sounds coming from the window where Sasha's kennel was. She woke in an instant to see what it was. On looking out the window, to Maya's surprise, she couldn't find anyone. She thought she was hallucinating, or maybe she was so sleep-deprived she was making weird conclusions. She dozed off to bed, but the very next morning, even Elena found something odd. Elena woke that morning and was in the kitchen when she heard some sounds. She peered out the window and could see Sasha's kennel, but as she had a closer look, she saw some shadows moving around it. There was some sort of movement. Elena was scared and was on foot. She anticipated the thieves were about to attack her again. As Elena opened the door to see what those sounds were, the unexpected visitor made her scream. Hearing the scream, Ryan and Maya woke in an instant and ran behind to Elena. Ryan knew something terrible again had struck his family. Little did the family know, it was something not terrible at all. To Elena's utter surprise, the sounds weren't of any burglars, but those made by their dear lost pup Sasha. The little doggo had made her way back home. This was a totally unexpected sight for the Sardis. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was a miracle. Maya was the happiest of all. She was over the moon to find her lost sibling again. Her emotions had no control. She instantly picked Sasha in her arms and started kissing her. The smile the little girl had lost with the departure of her dear pup was back on her face. But things were still a concern. Sasha looked pale. As she'd been out on streets for days, Ryan decided to take her to the vet. The poor doggo had suffered a lot in the past days and she needed immediate medical care. As the doctor examined her, her condition was more miserable than expected. Sasha had lost a considerable amount of weight. She was dehydrated and was on the verge of malnutrition. It appeared as if all these days she hadn't been fed anything. Her fur developed fleas and was covered in mud. Not only this, but Sasha was shivering in fear. Seeing that she'd been missing for days and wandering alone, this had scared her. She needed the love and pampering of her family. The Sardis were worried to see the poor health of their beloved Sasha, but they knew what was supposed to be done. Ryan got Sasha back home. They took care of her as prescribed by the vet. He got her vaccinated as well, and they served her a protein-rich dog food so she could regain her lost body mass. Not only this, they would cuddle with her and made her feel like home. As days passed by, Sasha began to recover. She started eating properly and would often doze off. Her body needed rest. With Maya present by her side constantly, Sasha recovered fast. She felt like home and had nothing to fear about. But one question that surfaced was, how did Sasha return? As the family informed the police about Sasha's homecoming, even they were happy. However, everyone had one question rushing through their minds. How did she come back home? While even after being microchipped, no one informed or contacted them with a dog. How was she able to make her way back? One of the strongest possibilities that could be made from Sasha's unexpected return was that the burglars were scared of the warning that the police force gave them. Maybe the thieves feared of being traced due to the microchip, and that's why they left the puppy back home. Elena and Ryan shared the good news of Sasha's homecoming over social media. The story of Sasha going missing was shared extremely, and it would be wrong if they didn't update everyone. While the story of missing Sasha garnered attention and brought a lot of sympathies, her return spread happiness. When people got to know that Sasha came home after 3 days of struggling, everyone was happy for her. And above all, people were glad that Maya was all well now and was playing and laughing with Sasha around her. They shared their happiness by commenting and blessing the little girl and her pup. The family and the policemen could not locate who the burglars were, but the Sardis had no grudges against the thieves. They didn't bother about their stolen stuff and were happy to know that at least they had reunited with their dear Sasha. Sasha was the one who mattered the most among everything they lost. Life went back to normal, and Sasha and Maya were always seen playing and having fun. Sasha never left Maya's side after that incident. She filled the space that Maya felt missing for her friend like a sibling. Both the girls were happy together, and so were Elena and Ryan to see them that way.